Hey everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Turning Readers into Writers with me, your host, Emma Dhesi. If you don't know me, I am a fiction writer myself. I'm an author of contemporary women's fiction, and I'm also a book coach. So I specialise in helping first-time novelists not just start, but continue with, keep going with, get through to the end of their first novel so that they are ready to go on and either start querying or to publish. Now, a question that comes up quite a lot in my community is, how do you get over the hump of starting writing? How do you get over that kind of, through that starting gate of beginning to write a book? And this is a funny old question because it is a little bit different for everybody. It comes and it goes at different times for each individual person. But what I've noticed with people is there's sort of two types of approach that I've noticed in people. One is, and this is based on kind of personality type, I would say. So see which one you feel that you fit into, and or if you feel that I'm missing some things along the way, then do let me know in the comments or email me emma@emmadhesi.com and let me know what you think and what I've missed. But two sort of personality types I've noticed. The first one are those kind of what do they call them? A-type personalities. So those real high achievers, those people who decide they're going to do something and they do it straight away. That's it. I've come across teenagers like this as well, who I interviewed one young lady. I think she was 17 when I interviewed her, but she'd been writing and publishing books since she was 14 because she'd made the decision she wanted to do it. And so she did. That was it. So even at that young age, she is somebody who, when she decides she wants something, she goes for it. She finds a way of making it happen. And I remember just being so impressed by her and wishing I had been more like that when I was her age. So there are people who will make a decision that they want to do this, and then they just go ahead and they do it. They make it happen. Not only do they start a book, but they complete it, they finish it, they revise it, and then they either start querying it or they publish it. And I've seen this happen both in the fiction and the non-fiction world. So whether you write short stories, novels, poetry, or you're writing kind of more how-to books, business books, either way, if you decide you're going to do it, you do it, and nothing's going to dissuade you. So that's one type of person. There's the other type of person, and I think that I fall into this category. There are those of us who think, oh, I really want to do that. I think that would be a really nice idea. I'm going to have a little dabble, and I'm going to start doing a few little courses. And I'm just going to really enjoy this process, and it's going to be fun. And then one day I'm going to write a book. But it kind of stays up in that lovely kind of dreamy space of, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that one day. That's going to be lovely. And we think that's fabulous. And we take a couple of courses, and then the course finishes. And then our enthusiasm for the project wanes. And we kind of get on with life. And then maybe a couple of months or even a couple of years later, that itch comes back and we're like, oh yes, that's right, I wanted to write a book. Oh, I still really would love to do that. Still really love to write a book. So then we go and take another class or a few webinars and start doing some more learning and love doing that learning. And we love the people we meet and how sort of warm and generous and giving a community the writing community is, and we love all that. And then we start on a new project, or maybe we continue with the one we worked on before. And similar to last time, when the class is finished or when the manuscript gets tough and we don't have that weekly accountability that we had on the course, it sort of dies away, the enthusiasm wanes again, and we let life take over again. And the same thing happens again and again. Have you noticed this sort of pattern with yourself? That you come in and out of writing as you're going along, but you still have that dream. You still want to write that book, but It's not the number one priority. Not ready to put everything else aside and make that happen just yet. You might be the other way in that you still have that idea that you want to write a book and it's going to be wonderful. But rather than kind of waning off with the project that you've got, you switch on to a new project. So you're constantly dipping in and out of your writing, but you're always starting new projects. Because when you get about a quarter of the way in to a new novel, and that's usually when it starts to get really tough, when we hit that middle section, that can be when we lose focus with the novel. We don't trust that we know what to do. We lose any sense of our own instincts. And we let that project slide and we move on to something new. And this is the one that we think is going to be the great story. This is going to be our breakout novel. Until we get to the quarter of the way in, and then it changes again. And then we move on to the new one. And so this pattern repeats. But either way, if we're not the A-type, then there's this pattern that just comes and goes. And we never get to the finish line with it. We never get to the finish line with it. And it becomes increasingly frustrating. We get increasingly frustrated with all the courses that we're taking and all the books that we're reading and all the interviews that we're watching, because none of them are giving us that magic answer. None of them have the formula. None of them are giving us what we want that will help us get to the end of this book. None of them are quite clicking, quite making it happen. And so we get more and more frustrated with all of those resources out there. Even more than that, we get frustrated with ourselves. Because the common denominator here is us, isn't it? It doesn't matter how many books we read or classes we take, we are the common denominator, and ultimately it's down to us as to whether this book gets written. And we keep not finishing it. We keep not doing what we've said we want to do. We keep disappointing ourselves by not finishing that book. And every time we come back to it, if we've had a sort of lapse in our writing and we come back to a project, we get more and more cross with ourselves because oh my goodness, it's been 5 years and I'm still working on this project. It's been 10 years, I'm still working on this book. It's been 20 years, I'm still working on this book. And we get more and more frustrated with ourselves. Or you're thinking, my goodness, this is like the 10th book that I've started in 16 months. When am I going to finish it? Why can't I finish it? What's wrong with me? Why can I never write the end? Why can I never get a full draft written? There must be something wrong with me. What is going on? Why can I not do this and everybody else around me seems to be able to? Have you ever felt that way? I know I have. This is absolutely what happened to me. I kept dipping in and out of my writing, and by the time I got to 40, I was like, for goodness sake, Emma, either do this or let it go. Either do it or let it go and move on. Because I didn't want to write just for fun. I wanted to write with a purpose. I wanted to write to put my stories in the world. I wanted to write my books to make a difference in the world. And so I was getting more and more and more frustrated with myself for going around and around and around in this circle. And it got to that point where I was just banging my head off a brick wall again and again and again and again. And maybe you can resonate with this, because what I've discovered is it's not until I got to that point and it hurt, banging my head against that wall hurt. It wasn't until I got to that point that then I was able to make the decision to write this book. Because that is ultimately what it comes down to. It comes down to making a decision to write the book. And sometimes for us, it really does mean that we've got to hit rock bottom before we change. And I want you to see the reflection of you. If this is you, I want you to see the reflection of yourself in fiction, because this is what our characters go through. They are living their lives in a certain way, and they might have dreams and they might have aspirations, but they never chase after them. They never do anything about it. They don't make the decision to go after them because life is comfortable enough. It's comfortable enough, or it's something that they know, And even if they can make their lives better, that means making a change in their life, and making a change in their life is scary. And that's the same for you and me as writers. We know that we would probably be happier if we had more creativity in our lives. We'd feel an amazing sense of accomplishment if we actually finished this novel. But doing that means making changes in our lives, and making changes in our lives is scary because it's uncomfortable. It takes adjustment. It takes people seeing us in a new way. It means telling people that we're writing. It means having people ask us about the books that we're writing, and we might not be ready to tell them about it. So you're going to feel worse and worse about this as time goes on. You're going to go into this loop, and eventually you're going to be hitting your head against that brick wall like I did. And it's going to hurt. Eventually it's just going to get too painful. And that's when you get to make the decision. You get to decide either you let this go or you write the darned book. That's when you make the decision. And you know what? If you decide that this is not for you anymore, if you decide that you've had enough, it's too painful, you don't want it enough, that is absolutely okay. I really, really want to emphasize that. It's fine. Let it go. Think how much happier you will be without this hanging over your head, that you'll free yourself up to go and do other things that do give you more joy and that are more fun for you and that you look forward to. So there's that side of it. But equally, when you make that decision, when you get to that point and you make your decision, then that's when it changes. That's when your mindset changes. That's when how you show up for yourself changes, because you've made this decision, not just in your mind, but actually emotionally and in your soul, that this is going to happen now. This is the story you're going to finish. You're not going to switch into something new. You're not going to take up a new project. You're going to finish this one before you do anything else. Or you're going to go back to that story and you're finally going to finish it. But you've got to make that decision. And it's exactly the same for your protagonists. Your protagonist is just, their life is going down. Their emotions are going down. The way they feel about themselves is sinking until they hit their rock bottom. Just like you're going to need to hit your rock bottom in order to make that change. So for your protagonist, they hit that rock bottom. They've finally realize that they have to make a decision in their lives. They either carry on the way they're going and things get worse, or they have to just grab the bull by the horns and they have to make the changes. And those changes are hard and they don't want to do them and it makes them feel uncomfortable. But if they want their life to get better, they've got to do it. And it's the same for you. If you want to write that book, you've got to make the change. You've got to do it. So my friend, the question for you today is, if you've not finished your book, is it because you've not made the decision? Are you not ready to make that decision? Is your head not bruised enough yet after banging against that brick wall? Because if it's not, you've got a wee while to go yet. But if it is, if you are fed up banging against that brick wall, then now is the time to make a change. Now is 100% the time to make the change. And you can either do it by yourself, because lots and lots of people do. 100% people make that change by themselves. But do you know what? You could make life a lot easier on yourself by reaching out for help. And you can reach out for help with a community, or you can reach out for help with a coach, somebody who can really make a difference for you in terms of accountability and help in terms of giving you the confidence that you need to continue with the story that you've got, and also to give you that up level in craft and give you that external validation that so many of us do require and need and want. Whoa, a little bit of tough love today, I think. I kind of, was feeling it there, and I hope it's resonated with you. If you've not finished your novel, I hope that you do kind of see that going on in your own life and realising that you can let this go, let writing go if it's just not for you anymore, if the moment has passed. Or that you still want to do this, but your head hasn't hit the brick wall enough times yet. You're not dizzy enough yet. You're not feeling sufficiently at the rock bottom yet. Maybe you know you've got a little further to go. But if you know that you are at that rock bottom, if you know that it's either feel rubbish for the rest of your lives, feel miserable for never doing this thing that you want to do, or get the help to make it happen. Because you can do it. I know that for a fact because I've done it. And I'm nobody special. I don't have any special qualifications or natural given gifts that make me able to do it. It was a decision I made and I followed through on it. And if you make that decision too, you 100% can follow through on it too. All right, I'm going to leave it there for today. And I will see you again next time. Just before I say goodbye though, I'm not very good at doing this, but I help you. I can help you. So if you think that I could be the person to help you, then reach out. Let me know. You can email me, emma@emmadhesi.com, and let's see if I can help you get to where you want to be. If you're fed up hitting your head against that brick wall, if you have hit that rock bottom and you want me to get you out of it, then do drop me an email. All right. Take care. Bye.